Water production and water usage in Lagos. We've traveled in the last 1 hour from the Adion site. Now we're at a place called Akute intake. We moved the journey from the Adion Phase 2 project, which is a 70 million gallon water plant. You saw all of the civil works. You saw the equipment that are on ground, and the consultant said to date they are at about 85-86% completion. But the remaining 50% is very, very critical. That is where they begin to install the electromechanical equipment. These are the things that will determine, the real, efficiency and production line of the water plants. But the other component of it is where does water comes from, gallons per day, in Adion, if it doesn't have an intake. So we have to lay pipes of over 8 kilometers that, we have to get the right of way from the Ogun State government, and I want to use this opportunity to thank them again. We paid compensation, but we had an extensive cooperation with the Ogun State government that gave us the right of way and gave us all of what we need to get to Akute. Akute is actually in Ogun State, and that is the border on the Ogun River. The water behind us is what they call the Ogun River, and that's where the intake will happen. The grounds that you've seen here, that excavation has happened, and all the pumps that will take the raw water is going to happen here. So it's from here, the raw water will travel 8 kilometers to Adion before he gets on to the pipe for the entire treatment. So what you're seeing is green or brown water that will turn into drinking water, in our homes and in our offices, in our schools in future. So this is the technology, and this is how large water treatment happens. It's like a power plant from generation. You have to start from here. This is where you take you have the intake. It travels all the way to the power plant, to the water treatment plants before it now gets distributed on reticulation to the various houses. So I've taken time to explain to you that this is a project that was started a long time, but we're getting to the finish line gradually. I needed to bring you here to see that the excavation of the final part of it, where the intake will happen, is here. On my left-hand side too is the old building that had the Adion 1. In that plant we had existing Adion 1, which were also revamping. It was also done way back over 50 years ago. 70 million gallons as well. That's where you have the raw intake pipes. You can go and take a video of it. We are changing the pipes for that one too, for the raw water intake. This is my left. On my right-hand side, we're going to have the power plant. We have an existing Akute power plant, which has now reconstruction to another company. We will be starting with a 6-7 megahertz. Eventually, it will wrap up to about 15 to 20 megahertz. The power plant is going to be, on the right-hand side. Power is needed. It's a strong component for any treatment or water treatment plant. So from here, they need to have enough power, because all of those turbines that power those pipes are not going like they will say. So you need a lot of energy to be able to propel them. So that is the distribution. So at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is that we're using Adion 2 to also solve Adion 1, right? And at the end, it's a lot of resources. Lagos might eventually be in a position to take about 140 million gallons of water per day. So you can Imagine that from just the 1 million we commissioned this morning to now having a total combination of 70 and 70, which will take us to 140 million gallons per day, which will indeed can serve, up until on the mainland, can serve the entire west coast of Lagos and hit over 5-6 million residents. So that's the vision that we have for water and for water solution. People have asked me, what are we doing? This is what we're doing. But it takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of resources, it takes a lot of planning to do. So we've had to collaborate with our sister state, which is Ogun State. The raw water is not in Lagos State, it's in Ogun State. The water is called Ogun River. But all of these are well thought out, which will eventually lead to water, being available, for our citizens, for our residents. And we're praying that before the end of next year, we should be able to finish, the Adion 2 and Adion. Most of them will see how it is. And from there, they also connect to a place called Iju. That's another conversation. That's another waterworks, which is not far from Adion. So for you to understand how the big water treatments work in Lagos, you need to understand Iju, you need to understand Adion, and you need to understand Akute. The three of them are all interrelated. If you want further instruction, ask for consultancy from me. Thank you.